started with the family photos. So grab your paper planes and stand up in the front of the stage. Come on down, everybody. Come on down, front of the stage. What we're going to do is stay ready for the photo, and then we're going to do a process where we're going to throw the planes at the camera bands, which is after you up. And that.
Oh, okay. You want to do it? I'm telling you to do it, but she's very young.
Come on down. And you go and line on up. Try to self-organize yourself, take leadership and initiative. Standing in the right place. And facing the actual stage.
I don't know if we have time to. But... AI at Quizlet. Now, show of hands, who has used Quizlet here? Yay! Okay, so I'm going to use a bunch of examples from Quizlet because it's going to be a product that you all are probably familiar with. Um, so I broke it down into both data science and AI, and I'm going to separate it here. I led specifically AI and machine learning, and there is another team, actually one of my best friends led the data science and analytics, which is actually more analytics at Quizlet. So I'm going to talk about both those teams and the work that we did. So I'm going to start with AI and machine learning. If Could you think of some examples where we might have used machine learning or AI at Quizlet? Yes. Right. That's right. So one could be content creation. Shannon said, if you put in a word, they could suggest a definition for that word, the flip side of that flashcard. Yes. Oh yeah, it could suggest you which flashcard or set to study next. Any others? Yeah. Okay. You customize flashcards. Yeah. Cool. Those are all great ideas and things that we have done. In fact, I actually want to go through, you know what? Okay, I'm going to get to your content creation one later. I want to first start with one of the examples, one of the big wins that we had, which was called smart grading. Has anybody here used smart grading with Quizlet? Few, show of hands. So it used to be, it's always been a paid feature. Now, I know there's a lot of frustration with students where we used to have learn mode used to be free. And now you have to pay to have more than a certain amount of usage. Who here has used learn mode on Quizlet, actually? Okay, some of you. Do the rest of you mainly use the flashcards app mode? Okay. Yeah, I know. After we released the paywall on learn mode, uh students got super pissed. But it was using a lot of fancier ML. So in smart grading, what happens is before your answer had to exactly match the correct answer. So for example, if the correct answer was you were studying vocabulary, it was excited feelings of pride, triumph, or happiness, and you wrote showing feelings of pride and joy, it would mark you wrong. And this was like a common um, complaint we heard from students. So from the ML team, we developed this technology based on ML. Um, yeah, and released it. So I can go through the process of how we could go create a project like that. If you want to go into the details of the technology, for those of you who have learned some machine learning, it turns each of these phrases into a vector. Does anyone know what a vector is? Yeah, it's like a string of numbers, sequence of numbers. You can think of it like that way. And that represents the words. And so two vectors that are similar would be actually semantically similar. But yeah, that's how we did some technology like that. It was similarity calculation, which you might have learned in school, of a vector representation. Um, okay, let's see. Oh, my icon showed first. All right, so what happens when we build ML products? There's a bunch of steps. I think there's like 8 steps here. But the first one is understanding the user problem and the goal, as well as the product. So we had to know like this one? Okay. We first had to understand, uh, you know, what we should even work on, right? Like what should we solve? And so we talk to students, we talk to our user researcher who talks to a bunch of students. We look at students, people writing in and what kind of complaints they have. We look at the data and see where people drop off. These are all ways we look at that. We know the tech capabilities. So sometimes we know the problem, but we don't know, if this problem is even solvable. So if we have to keep up on like what's possible, so we know what can be solved, is actually feasible. Then comes like the grunt of the work, which is testing your solution. You get a bunch of data, you test it, you repeat. This takes one of the longest times. And we try this method, we try that method, we measure, and we analyze, and we repeat. And then we partner and we refine, we come up with a design for it, we figure out how it works with the infrastructure, and we develop a production service that's like something, I don't know if you are like, these are like APIs, which I don't know if you're familiar with. Then we integrate it, like, and we work with engineering, we A/B test it. And the A/B testing is a really interesting phase where we look at, well, what actually happens to people who don't have this feature and people who have this feature? Do the ones who have it, do they study longer? Do they learn it better? Do they come back more? And so when we, we can measure, we measure all sorts of things. We measure over 20, 30 metrics whenever we release a feature or a change to understand how this helped. In the case of smart grading, we knew we had a pretty good sense that it would be a great feature, but we wanted to know how much better. And if you know how much better it is, you can know, well, how much revenue did I help make? How much increase in studies and students did I, was I responsible for? Should we invest in this more? So, understanding that helps like measure what kind of impact we actually had, even if you think that it was a helpful thing. And then there's a release, there's announcing, there's a marketing it, there's figuring out how to monetize it. And then there's expanding it, for example, to different languages and countries. So that is the general process where, I think that when we talk about ML and in school, you really just learn about the technology side, which is the building, but there's so much of these other side of building ML products that that comes into play. All right, so this is another example of something that someone mentioned, recommendations of what to study next, because you studied something, right? This is like a very simple version. You don't even need machine learning. You just need to aggregate the data. So if you studied stats by this person, what stats do they study next? So that's just like summing up things and counting. There's a lot of heuristic-based recommendations. And also I want to emphasize that not ML products are ML. So this is an example of content creation, but it's similar to content creation. For example, search autocomplete. You type in C, it shows you calculus and chemistry. We actually don't need ML for that. We just look at, what are the most common search phrases that start with C? We just look at our data. We aggregate it, we count it, and then we say, it happens at every step of the way. As you type in more letters, well, what are the most common search queries that start with these letters? So just an example that not every ML algorithm needs to be this fancy statistical math thing. A lot of it is just counting based. It's funny because in school, it's like you have to learn calculus and linear algebra and all this stuff and then in the work, some of the most impactful stuff, you really just need to know how to count stuff, but it's all these other skills around it that make this feature powerful. Some other features we had, we predict the course and school of users that we can show better recommendations. We identify these clusters of users. So some we've said, these are super studiers. They're going to study all the time, and we can show them lots of recommendations. There's some others that's, we say, oh, these people study, are maybe only just reference searchers. Some people just go to Quizlet to look at sets, probably for homework answers, and you may know people like that. So we classify that in the back end, and that helps us better understand insights. For example, if we release a feature, say, why didn't it move metrics as we thought? Then we can look at, well, maybe it helped these kinds of students, but not these kinds of students, because it depends. And in the last year, I worked heavily on LLMs, or generative AI. We partnered with OpenAI. I don't know, how many of you have used these newer features like Magic Notes and QChat? This is a little newer. Okay, yeah. Which one did you use? Q chat. How was it? It was really good. Cool. What did you use it for? Sorry, could you speak a little louder? Okay. Yeah, cool. Using it for fun. Yes, we saw a lot of that. We pass in the flashcard set information into the context of the AI of the chat, so that we've already passed in everything that you're studying, and so it uses that to help direct the chat. And so that was something that was happening. You know, there's a lot happening in this generative AI field, and I won't speak to it too much. But there's much to be cautious of, much to keep. I don't know. I know there must be a lot happening that you guys are all reading about. Um, and there's a lot of kind of hyped promise. Interestingly, QChat didn't increase our engagement that much. A lot of people just wanted to study with the regular flashcards or something that they knew. So there's limitations to it. It could be inaccurate. It could be a little slower. Um, uh, some people don't like chatting with a chat format to study, but anyway, it was something that helped some people, and was our kind of experimentation with generative AI. And then this other one, we created magic notes, which is like you put in your notes or your lecture notes or the professors or teachers' lecture notes, and we give you flashcards or a practice test. So that was a pretty fun, I think, application of AI for studying that I thought. And if I would encourage you to try it, I don't work at Quizlet anymore, but I thought it's a pretty fun feature. Not the best. There's still a lot of limitations, but getting there. All right, that's on the ML, machine learning and AI side. Now to the data science side, which is more applicable to some of the projects that we're doing here at PilotCity. Okay, so if you start as like a data scientist at a company in analytics, and actually, let me go backwards a little bit. In a lot of places, when it started, the term data science kind of included machine learning and algorithms. Nowadays, it's starting to more just be analytics and insights. It depends on the company, and there's no standard, so it really depends. But during my time at Quizlet, the term my team, which is a machine learning, used to be called data science, and then it turned into be calling ML and AI, and the team that was called analytics changed into becoming data science, and the people working on that team were called data scientists. So this has had a lot of change over the last years. If you get confused, it's because it's constantly changing. In this case, I'm going to focus on the analytics data science. The most common example I've worked in this field, the most common example you'll get are our users are dropping. You might have seen some of the slide already, but if someone came to you and said, our users are dropping, like what are the questions you might ask to figure out why are users dropping? Like the most common scenario, you join as a data scientist, your product manager or director comes to you and says, our numbers are dropping. Can you figure out why? What do you think you would look at? Yeah.
So like maybe what are your demographics and what features are they using for the longest, and like how the balance is like generate a graph like which feature performs the best with which demographic, and then you figure out where you should focus.
Yeah. So yes, I will. Yeah. So we could look at the segmentations, the demographics. Maybe is it like age groups, location? These are the most common ones we have. And what features are they using? Which features are doing well? Could you break down the data by feature usage? Anything else? Those are actually the main ones, right? Is there from a specific region? What's happening there? Often we find out that there's some holiday that we don't know about, or there's tornadoes in Florida. And so, because, Florida closed schools for 2 weeks and the entire, I don't know, like the region around there closed it. So it's funny, but sometimes there's external factors. Sometimes something is broken. You can look at usage and you may need to go to do detailed product usage. Sometimes you just look at it over time and we look at what we released. There's something that released that people didn't like. So that is one example. So that's an example of a data-driven insight. There's also recommendations, what should we build next? Or of these options, they're not necessarily coming up with what to build next, but what should we prioritize next? What segment should we focus on? What segments are doing well? There's dashboarding just to give you a general sense of the health. There's A/B test analyses after you release a feature, any change to better understand, well, why did this help this group but didn't help that group? Why did these metrics go up but these metrics go down? And then you have to go into looking into that more. Sometimes you incorporate some machine learning, like forecasting. You have to forecast, well, what do you think our users or amount or revenue is going to look like next year? Or you look at your internal data, like predicting, these people we're going to call them group A and these people are going to call them group B. What's their risk level if you're at a financial company? And then technical skills. Usually we talk about statistics. The honest truth is a lot of the time it's pretty basic statistics at the beginning, especially for smaller companies. There's definitely some coding. At the analytics side, it's mostly SQL, which I don't know if it's taught in college as much, but there's lots of online resources, and that's actually one of the most useful data science skills that is unemphasized. And then there's some Python with like the pandas library and R. But okay, what are actual like superpower data science skills? When I look at the best data scientists, they're not the best statisticians or the best coders. They have all these other superpower skills. I thought I was going to open this one by one, but they have a deep understanding of the product and users. They strategically prioritize analyses and questions. So what happens often is you'll get tons of questions from everybody. I want to better understand A and B and C and D and E. And then they know how to push back and say, well, maybe B, I'll just look at, you already kind of know from here, or in C, well, even if you knew, what could you do about it? But A seems really important. Let's dig into A. That's, that prioritization can be a big deal. And understanding even the why behind the why and the why of why that person is asking that question. There's tool familiarity, knowing how to use the dashboarding tools, the SQL, even slides, and that goes into communication. And the detective skills are kind of like the first one, which is you often are basically like a detective. Like the question to you is, for example, why are users dropping? Or what should we choose, A or B? And then you have to go deeply into each of those and provide all the research that you can. And you have to communicate it very clearly. The best data scientists I know are able to tell a story from the data and actually convince the people that they are doing this analysis for of their results. Because oftentimes you can do all this analysis, you show it to someone who's like, well, I don't know about that. That doesn't make sense. That happens quite a lot. You have to, well, first of all, if you had excellent detective skills and you communicated it clearly, you could say, well, I've looked at this 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is why I believe the data. That is part of it. You have to be able to present it in the formats that are presentable that other people can understand. And related to communication is collaborating across teams so that they can, better understand the problems that they have and know how to, know who to share that analysis with as well. So this is data science in the real world beyond statistics and tool use, or the technical sides. All right, so now I want to try an exercise, and maybe we can take about 10 minutes here. This is actually these questions are focused on data science, but you could also do some AI brainstorming. So if you think about what are your goals, what do you want to better understand? How would you do so? So in thinking about data science as kind of like this detective role, where you're just trying to deeply understand things more to make a recommendation. Uh, how, who could you talk to? What data could you look up? And what would you do with those insights or with that data? Um, so I wanted to give this a try. If you can think about it in terms of what you're working on at Pilot City right now. Um, or if you don't find anything relevant, you could think about another project that this is relevant to. So maybe, yeah, every location could break out and maybe groups of like 4 to 6 here. Maybe every row or something. Yeah.
So I want to get this clear. So the goal is to find out what your goals are. And let's say the current project that you just selected or your most recent project, okay? Or upcoming feature project, but ideally the one that you just set up. And what do you want to better understand? How would you do so? So you're basically prompting yourself with these questions. And then they're going to do that for their own individual ideas and projects, and then maybe discuss amongst each other on their own individual projects. Great. I think that'd be really awesome. So basically, you're going to think about your own ideas for your own projects with these prompts, and then you're going to share context, right, to the folks in your group and exchange how you answered these. I think that's a great exercise. And how much time would you like them to have, Ling?
So the next workshop is at 2:15. So I'm thinking we do this for 10 minutes and then maybe spend 5 minutes at the end for everybody to recap any, highlights that they had in their group. And then we can stop at like 2:10, right? Yeah. So let's give until 2 o'clock actually. So it's not a very long breakout. Yeah. Um,
All right, so let's go ahead and do this. You've got a group up there. You three could be a group right there. And I think you four could be a group right here. These four right here. And then you three could be a group. What was your name again back there? Jason Leanne. That's right. Thanks for coming. So you can listen in with this group right here. And are you just dishing your team or are you just going to come back? Okay, good. Actually, Jason, why don't you join this team right here? And then you two can kind of go one-on-one. Great. So let's do that. And so how much time do they have to do individual thinking? Oh, they'll just talk amongst each other. Oh, great. Cool. Great. All right. Do your thing and have fun. Go and join this squad. You can keep this to keep prompting them with time.
I think like analysis of like yeah, they share like
How them and before like
yeah. Maybe, you know, like one design. Yeah, how do you work in the numbers together?
Yeah, I wish. No, I don't think it's.
What's the idea?
Hey, why don't you guys sit in the circle, maybe do a little Indian style? Half circle.
Actually, quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does this videos possible? That's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, I would love to take one day.
Yeah, it's- But, isn't that so fun? Needed a presentation. think it'll be good. Some ways.
Okay, give me one.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, I do. I was wondering, I wanted to.
Is everybody ready to share a takeaway from your group? One or two takeaways from your group. We're gonna get at most 1 minute per group. So keep it short and I'm gonna watch the time. So maybe just what you talked about, any questions that you're left with. The end. All right, who wants to start? I'll bring the mic over to you. For the two mics. Yeah. Oh, cool. You can take turns.
Okay. So I think we just started off by explaining what fields we want to be in and how you can apply data science to every field that we want to pursue or are already pursuing. And we kind of came to the conclusion that in every single field, you still need data science in order to understand how products are used and how it impacts the users and like whether or not it'll be affordable or it'll make life better, it'll help the community, like in healthcare or in marketing. There are a lot of different takeaways.
Yeah, I think something great our group had that we all had like very different ideas and projects kind of we wanted to work on like I'm more interested in app building and Shannon is more, it's this one? Okay. And so basically we all had like very different topics and like very broad spectrum of what we all want to pursue. And I think from that we did kind of learn how, but they all do connect to data science and like machine learning as well. Yeah.
Cool.
When you are talking to the mic, talk to the one without letters on it as closely as possible. And you can talk to everyone else, not to the camera.
Right. We all have like different methods of like seeing how we could like reach the goal of engaging with users. But one way I thought of really was like seeing which subjects really engage or like resonated with the student, I guess. Like whether they like, enjoyed like more like software development stuff, the data science stuff, or like photography, or everything else. Yeah, that's kind of what I talked about. That's it.
Talk to both mics, please.
So, all we talked about was just how can machine learning be, how can data science be implemented into machine learning? So we talked about how in the future years, machine learning might analyze data by itself without any humans. So
It's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
we just discussed how it can happen. So we as humans, we could just implement the method of how we analyze data into machine learning and teach machines how to do it. So that will be more efficient in the future years.
It's a good point. And I forgot to mention that in the OpenAI, like the GPT stuff with the code running in the background, I forgot what's called, the code something. You can upload data or CSV. Said, can you make insights out of this for me automatically? And it'll create the code, run it, and create you charts and diagrams. I think humans will have to figure out like what's the relevant data they have to pass in. Hey, I talked to this, what's the data you have to pass in and structure it, all those things that go around, but not the actual analysis step that I mentioned, all the superpowers. I think a lot of those are some of the superpowers. Like, who should I talk to? What's the best way to present this? What are the other ones? Like, what more questions should I ask given what I know? But yeah, I agree. A lot of the technical part will be automated in 10 years.
Oh, yeah. This can.
I feel like personally, I have a big interest in marketing. So data science definitely plays like a big role in marketing. And especially with like how to like meet metrics and who to target, I feel like you could use the data that you get from like surveys or A/B tests, like you said, and just like testing in general. I feel like you could use a lot of data science to like understand the data and really understand what it means, so you know who to target and what to target.
Yeah, definitely. Marketing uses a lot of data science. They run a lot of A/B tests too, even just on single word changes. And those sometimes make a surprising difference. It's not great like product development, but it's like, oh, we changed this from this word to this word. Or the design of the email. There's so much spam email now. There's only, yeah. But yeah, how often to send it, what the pictures that it show, what kind of content it should show to you. Yeah. Cool. I think it's okay, great.
So the three of us were talking, and we're all success managers for PilotCity. And one thing we found was that like obviously success management is something that's more interpersonal than data driven, but you can still find ways to use data. Like Pernille brought up like being able to use feedback as data. So that was like a big one that we came up with.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Data around HR is definitely more sensitive, HR and hiring, but there's a lot of analysis. There was this chief people officer at Google called Laszlo Bock who ran tons of experiments on to how people worked, and it was a lot of based on surveys as well. So I think survey and data could be useful there. Like, how is this helping, and teams run surveys all the time as well. Cool. Oh, yeah, let's go more.
We have one last team here, right? One last team.
Okay, we talked about how we could use data in our individual projects, like when collecting data for whatever we're doing. So I was doing a project on sustainable architecture. So I thought that I could use my research and then see how many people actually thought that sustainable architecture was realistic. So that's how I was planning to use data.
My thing was like people who like suffer from like social media addiction, like with conscious. So I could use data to like see how much people actually suffer from that.
We're kind of doing the same thing, so.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. I want to make sure there's a little bit of a break before the next workshop at 2:15, right? But thank you all for sharing your insights. Okay. Thanks all for sharing your insights and ideas and engaging with this discussion. Data and AI is going to be there in a lot of your lives in beneficial and less beneficial ways. So, this is just a short intro of everything to come and thinking about all the opportunities within PilotCity. Oh, I had one more that I almost forgot about, but I won't go over it much. I think it's just the projects that we're going to be doing at PilotCity, and I'll just speak to it since I'm not sharing my screen anymore. It's okay. I'll just speak to it. So some of the alumni are working together to look at students' data to better understand who's joining, who's engaging, who's getting to later stages of activities, who's getting offers, what schools are successful, what kinds of content are engaging and what kind of activities are engaging and where are people dropping off. So those are some of the things we'll do with Pilot City. Cool. Thank you all. All right. That is
All right, everybody, we're going to get started with the gamification, game design thinking workshop in just a bit. Chris Bennett is here. Chris, could you raise your hand? Hello, hello, hello. And let's give another clap for Ling Chung as well. Thank you. Data's gold, and what you just heard is gold too. Like, if I knew all this stuff before, I feel like data is going to be the fuel for everything in the world, right? Because technology brings data in, right? And then you got to do something with the data, which can make things even better, right? So process it in that fashion, right? As a fundamental thing that you'll be touching and using and processing throughout your life. And that was a crash course on it. So what we're going to do for the next 10 minutes, we're going to run an activity called Crazy Eights. And Crazy Eights is you're going to take a piece of paper that I'll give you in a little bit. And actually, I'd like for everyone to come down and grab a piece of paper and a pen. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fold your paper into 8 boxes. And then you're going to think of you're going to draw 8 designs for the project that you just chose and picked before lunch started. All right. So as a start, everyone come on, walk on down and grab a piece of paper and a pen from me here. And then we're going to run an activity for the next 8 minutes while we get Chris set up to do this activity called Crazy Eights. And I'll show you what it looks like. Success managers, come on down to help me out to distribute this, please. All right, so you can grab a paper from me and then grab a pen from a success manager on that end over there. Great. Here's a paper.
Oh, yeah.
And grab
There's
it.
a Wi-Fi. You are on Wi-Fi? Oh, yeah, I can do it.
Oh, yeah, did you join the meeting? You didn't choose your project yet, but design it for the employer that you want. All right, so what you want to do is you want to take your paper that you just got, and actually, if all the success managers can grab one too, just to join in on the fun, because Crazy Eights is actually a really great activity. So go and grab paper from there. Fold your paper in half, just like that, and then fold it one time like this, hot dog, like fold it, make the hot dog half, and then fold it again. Basically, make 8 boxes. And what Crazy Eights is, in a nutshell, is you're going to have 8 sketches. 8 sketches in each of these boxes as 8 different ideas of what your solution would be for the employer and the project scope that you just picked before this lunchtime to help kickstart the ideation process for your solution. And you should keep this because these are what, when I studied architecture, there was a word called a partie. It's a French term, P-A-R-T-I. And a partie essentially is a rough sketch of the concept of your solution. So let me demonstrate what a partie means just to give you an idea of how rough these drawings could be. So let's say I'm working on a solution for conscious, and he wants me to create a content campaign that impacts middle schoolers. and say my concept is something that involves middle schoolers across multiple sites, and I need to create some kind of social media campaign for that individual. Whatever pops up in your head as a concept, visualize that however your brain works and draw it. It does not have to be a detailed sketch. It just has to represent exactly what you're thinking. And that could be a very conceptual, basic sketch that you understand. And you're going to make 8 designs in 8 minutes, starting in 30 seconds for your employer and the prompt that you had. All right. So get started in about, let's do 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. 8 designs, 8 minutes. I'd recommend 1 design per minute that conceptualizes the idea. Take into account the data science work that you're just learned. Feel free to take in consideration what you may hear in the next 2 workshops and bring out all your ideas. If you're spilling over, turn over the paper and do it again. Chris? See you. Gotcha. Hey, so I'm gonna get you on a Zoom. You're on there, and then I'm gonna get you mic'd up. Okay. And so what we've been doing is you can wear this.
That's fine.
Because that'll be easier actually, because then you'll have to talk to another mic as well.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let me give you this. Everything all good?
Yeah. I've never been here, but this place is huge.
Would you want to?
Well, I parked over by where the strip mall is over there with all the big shops and stuff. And so I walked in, no idea where I was.
Yeah. Yeah, the walk up the turquoise staircase was a key piece of message for sure. So, yeah, best thing to do is really get as close as possible to, because it's really actually quite hard to do. Let me add you. About 3 minutes at that. So, 3 designs, go ahead and get up to 8 in the next 5 minutes. Sharing your screen.
Sure. Do you want me to join with computer audio or test the microphone?
I don't join, actually, you can join computer audio. You can come into you can actually join with computer audio. Share the screen. Yeah. The whole purpose of this activity is to force your brain and put out ideas and move on to the next one. Sometimes you gotta unshare it and then reshare it. Just to see if there's some bug, if it stays stuff like that.
I'll try it again.
I'm trying the whole desktop that way.
Oh, it's probably, maybe it wants to be drugging in. Well, so that's fine. I can share the whole desktop and then just move that in there. I think that'll, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the whole desktop. Seems like it works.
Well, no, I can't do that because I can't do my speaker notes.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh, maybe it's so far.
So it's doing this, but then it's. What if you double click over when it, if you double click on that to see if it'll enter that because it's in full screen mode. You want to try that real quick?
That's what happens when I double click it.
Hmm.
I've actually, it happens once in a while. When you join the meeting one time. If you are done with your 8 designs, add some more on the back side of the page. And or go deeper on a single design and build out even a storyboard or user experience of what that looks like.
Okay, let me try it. I'll try it now.
So for those who are in San Diego or Prisha or those who just joined, we are doing Crazy Eights where we make 8 designs at 8 minutes. Go ahead and participate before we get started with the gamification workshop in just a bit.
Different browser?
You want, oh, it works now, whatever that,
Oh.
whatever happened. That was normal, right? You just kind of click something. You're doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me see if it works.
Yeah, I think the speaker notes are messing it up.
Oh, I see. So let me know when you feel like you're ready.
Sure. Yeah, let me try it like this, okay?
All right. All right. Who feels like they have some designs? Are you done? Just raise your hand if you're done. 8 designs. Great. So for those who are done around you, go ahead and share what your designs look like and some context with someone next to you. So that way you can share and get some feedback on your designs. Because that's what you have to do in the future is share your solutions with users to get their feedback so they can actually give you improvements. So please don't hold back when you're giving feedback as well.
All right, let's just turn it off. Yeah, I may just have to go without speaker notes. Not the end of the world. I'll just go.
Would desktop work even if you showed the speaker notes? I guess that wouldn't work. Okay, if you feel comfortable with that, you want me to try one last thing, see if it works?
Yeah, let me try. Edge.
Okay, let's work on it. Got it.
It could be the Adobe like signature.
Got it.
It has to be like the Adobe.
All right,
I really
send it over.
prefer Okay.
Send it over. Thanks. Has it been fun working with, Chris?
The one- I'll email it to you.
I should just work. That's not.
Yeah.
You want to pull up your phone? We could do speaking of phone.
Yeah, give me a minute, okay?
We will have very minimal time for you to actually have dedicated work time for your actual projects and solutions. So I want to let you all know at this point to move forward with the program that you've set up for yourself earlier. And if you haven't set it up, you should set it up as well and get some help to get it up so that you actually are in the program. And this Crazy Eights is just a really short exercise to get your brain running, to get the designs kind of out there at a basic level. And so what I'd recommend is going through your own process now, going through the PilotCity program, and even start to prototype solutions. What these employers want to see is they want to see your actual portfolio. They want to see your designs. They want to see what you can make. Who went to the employer spotlights? I've seen a lot of you at the employer spotlights. Akash, Amrit, Harshini, Vayab, Wait, and Ahan. All you have, I've seen all your guys' names. What the themes that the employers have shared are what? I want to see what you can do, right? Show them. I know that the brainstorm project ideas is just text, but start collecting and start making content for them. They want to see that. They want to know that you're committed, right? So reflect on all these items as you go into the program. And this will be our first round of projects that you build. And what we want to do is get you connected to those employers after July 4th. All right, so without further ado, this is Chris Bennett. And who here is interested in game design? Raise your hand. Game design people? Only 3 people? Raise it higher if you're proud of being a potential game designer. I want to be a game designer. So a lot of students want to be game designers. Who's interested in the concept of gamification of things in general? Not being a game designer, but just gamification in general. Oh, more hands there. That's great to know. So I'll let Chris share more about where he comes from, what he does. So I don't spill all the beans, and we'll pass it to him now. And enjoy this workshop, and we'll move on to Harbinger right after that, which is how to make a social impact. So Chris, you can take this one mic and talk. Yep.
Oh, we're gonna use both of them?
That one's old.
Oh, okay. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Concept called gamification, but if you take away anything from this, it's that gamification is not taking boring things. Have any of you ever seen that before? Right, when you have something like you're doing like a test, or you're doing some math, and it makes it into a game. That's one way of doing gamification, but that's not the only way. So we're going to talk about some different ways here. So a little bit about me. I've had a chance to work on some cool video games in the past. Have been working. Who's heard of The Sims before? Raise your hand. Who's heard of Diner Dash before? A couple of people. Anyone ever heard of like EA Sports? All that stuff, cool. So I got to work on some of that stuff before. It's kind of wild now. It's like some EA Sports game franchises are bigger than some like major sports teams, right? So there's huge amounts of money that are going in there. In fact, the big thing is that video games are bigger than the movie industry, and they're bigger than the TV industry, and they're bigger than the music industry combined. So just the games that you play in your mobile. Anyone play games on your mobile? Yeah, this is bigger than the movie industry, just by itself. So that's pretty wild. Also, these slides, so you don't have to take notes. But as a lecturer, it's my duty to tell you that if you do take notes, it actually helps you improve the memory. It actually helps you improve the learning and the memory better. So if you want to take some notes on paper or on your laptop, so what I do in my work and at my lecturing at Stanford is this concept called game design. And it's basically three things. The game design part of it is how do we create experiences that are both compelling and emotional. And also behavior design. Behavior design is all about why we make decisions, how we make decisions, and how we can help nudge people to make decisions that better for themselves. And then also neuroscience. Anyone ever heard of neuroscience before? Neuroscience is like what's going on in your head. So we study things like what's going on in our brain when you're watching Netflix versus when you're reading Kindle versus when you're sitting in class. So I've actually been in studies before where they put this kind of rubber thing over my head, and there's all these sensors in it, and all these sensors have all these wires going into a laptop on my backpack. And I'm like walking around the room all this, and doing these exercises, like creative exercises, and it's checking the blood flow in different areas of my brain to see what lights up when I do things. So when we talk about neuroscience, we literally talk about what goes on. So, has anyone ever heard the term gamification before? Can somebody give me an example of it? You just raise your hand and talk. Duolingo streaks, right? So why are Duolingo streaks an example of gamification? Anyone want to give a call out to that? It makes you want to do more, right? So the streak is encouraging you to do more, but also not to break that streak, right? You ever talk to anyone who's had like 250 days on Duolingo, and they're like, I gotta do my lesson today, or I'm gonna break my streak, right? That's an important part of it. So gamification is literally, like it says here, the process of adding game-like elements to make non-game activities to make them more engaging and learning. And so I'm just going to talk about some common gamification elements. Points. Has anyone ever seen points added to things before? Right? Yeah, that one's pretty common. And then badges. Anyone ever seen badges added to things before? Okay. What's an example of something that you might get a badge for? Yeah, so Khan Academy, I'm just restating what you say so people can hear. In Khan Academy, you get achievement, you get badges, you probably get points for it too, right? And then leaderboards. Anyone ever seen or heard of a leaderboard before? What's an example of that thing you might use? Yes. Yeah, Duolingo has a leaderboard. Yeah. Quizlet has. Yeah, Quizlet has a leaderboard, right? So you're answering questions, people are going up and down in leaderboards, and so you're kind of fighting each other to see who gets to the top. And then levels. Anyone ever seen leveling before? It's an example of something that has a level. Anyone ever heard of Dungeons and Dragons? Like, and then a lot of the RPGs that came out, like way back in the day, they had this concept that we had this character, their characters leveling up. So one of the things that gamification took from that was if you're going through Khan Academy or you're going through something else, you can be leveling up to kind of show that you're getting more powerful at what you're doing. And then a progress bar. Anyone ever seen a progress bar before? What's a place that you might see like a progress bar? Duolingo, yeah, Duolingo has a lot of these things in there, doesn't it? So how does it kind of help you when it has a progress bar? Does it kind of give you information or anything? Progress bar. Pretty cool. Natural. Like take a look at this for a second. There's a teacher who actually wrote a scientific paper, and it was kind of cool. Like, well, a little gamification is good, but a lot of gamification might be better. So everything going on in this classroom, and it points to it, the experience points, the levels, the badges. He basically added everything to it. So a little gamification is good. Does that mean a lot of gamification is better? What do you think? No? But maybe why not? There's too much gamification going on. Like it literally takes you away from what you're literally learning, and you just start playing the game instead of playing it to learn. Yeah, that's really sharp. But more importantly, gamification is extremely. Has anyone ever heard the terms extrinsic and intrinsic before? Okay, this might be a new one. So an extrinsic reward is something that is external to what we're doing, and an intrinsic is one that's internal. Anyone go to Starbucks? Anyone have the Starbucks app on their phone? Okay, Starbucks app on the phone. What does it do when you get something there? It gives you stars. Yeah, it gives you stars. And what happens when you accumulate those stars? They just sit in the box or? Yeah. So when you get stuff. So basically when you use your Starbucks app is when you buy things there, is you get stars that appear in your app. And once they start to accumulate, then you're like, oh, I can get like a free frappuccino or bagel or whatever you might get. And like you said, you have to use them after a while before they start dying. So when you go into Starbucks and you get a like a drink or something, and you get stars from it, is that reward intrinsic to what you're doing, or is it extrinsic? Is it on the outside of what you're doing, or is it like on the inside of what you're doing? Do you think it'd be extrinsic or intrinsic? Extrinsic? Yeah, so it's extrinsic because it's basically rewarding you for something that isn't actually drinking the drink. So let's say you go to Starbucks and you meet a friend of yours, and you both get a drink, and you both sit down and you catch up, and you haven't talked in a while. Is that extrinsic to what you're doing, or is that intrinsic to what you're doing? Intrinsic, and that's kind of the point of what you're doing. I'm going to keep going on here, and it'll get ready. Oh, sorry. It's okay. So then there's this concept of shouldn't you reward the learner for doing everything? And so research has shown that extrinsic rewards will often detract from the intrinsic motivation of experience by creating this extrinsic framework of value. And so to avoid interfering with the intrinsic motivations, we should do a couple things. We should have rewards that are non-competitive. Yeah, no problem.
Give us a minute, the internet's house slow.
So, about the difference between like intrinsic fixes. So, there's this thing that's super interesting for you that you might, if you're interested in gamification at all, there's this thing called self-determination theory. And you can Google this thing called the taxonomy of motivation. Because I used to think that motivation was like a switch. Like you either want to do something or you don't want to do something. But it turns out that scientists have gone and there's found that there's actually 6 different types of motivation. All the way over here, you get someone who's intrinsically motivated for something. What's an example of one of you who were like intrinsically motivated to do something? Like you would do something even if your parents didn't tell you to do it, even if your teachers didn't tell you to do it, like something that you just like naturally into. You can go ahead and raise your hand. Yeah. Playing sports. Yeah. What sport do you play? Cool. So, so if you look at these things, is this something, I just want to check on it, is this something that you do because like the interest and enjoyment, and because it's inherently satisfying for you to do, right? So if someone gave you like a reward for doing it, would that make you more want to do it, or does it like not really matter that much? Okay, cool. And then let's go all the way over to the side with a motivation, which is like you literally couldn't pay me to do it. What's something for you that like someone literally couldn't pay you to do? There's a lot of things for me. There's probably like 100 things. Skydiving. Lack of perceived competence, okay, lack of value, non-relevance. So like it says not relevant to you at all, right? Perfectly good playing, perfectly good person, why separate the two of them? Okay, cool. So that's really interesting, but when you have any certain thing, like playing sports or skydiving, or learning something online, it's like you know what a bell curve is, where it's like flat on the side and most people are in the middle. Most people are somewhere here in the middle. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but if you're interested in this, I would super recommend checking this out, because it turns out that most people are in one of these certain buckets in the middle. And if we can figure out where they are, we have a better idea of what motivates them, and we have interesting ways that we can help support them. Because some people only need like a little information and a little nudge to do something, and there's some people on the left that they're really going to need a big push in order to do something. It's going to be a lot more work. Right? We're going to skip this one just because of time. So extrinsic motivation is where to start, right? So the Duolingos in the world rely on extrinsic motivation, but what they're hoping is that over time you become intrinsically motivated to use it. Because chances are you're not gonna have someone who's gonna use Duolingo for a year just because of the streaks. It's going to be a process of, oh wow, I'm actually learning Spanish. Like, what's up with that? Like, I had a chat with someone who speaks Spanish, and I can kind of sort of talk with them, right? There needs to be some sort of intrinsic motivation. So then the question is that how do we drive towards intrinsic motivation? So one thing is autonomy, providing choices for learners and giving them encouragement along the way and helping them feel self-directed. So what you're doing there is you're giving people choices, but you're giving them choices that are important to you, not just important to them, not just important to you. The second part is mastery. You want to give feedback for a process that's specific and it's quick. And you want to help them get better at the things that matter to them. You want them to feel a sense of progress and to give them space and support. Now it's interesting because I'm throwing like some weird technical slides at you, but as a game designer, if you go back and look at any game, like any video game that's super successful, this stuff is all baked in. They just don't talk about it. There's crazy 3D graphics and there's explosions maybe, or maybe you're playing Stardew Valley and you're just like chilling out. But all the stuff is all baked in. And the last one is purpose. Let people know why they're doing things. Help them care about the outcome. And if you can, connect them to things that are bigger than themselves. I think that is a huge part of PilotCity, because you want to connect people to a real purpose. And we also want people to feel like they're doing something that's bigger than just themselves. They're a student, they want to work on a project, they want to get an internship, they want to work with a company and eventually have a cool job or go to school. But we need to show them that there's just a whole connection of people that around them that want to. So when we create a piece of learning, we should think about it as an experience, right? Emotions are what really drives experience. When you go to a movie, when you watch a TV show on Netflix, when you're reading something on a Kindle, there's some things that are factual, factual that are interesting, but it's really about the emotions that drive people that keep them coming back. Someone who like binge watches a TV show like all Saturday, they're doing it because there's something emotional that's driving them back each time. And so what is the experience that we're creating and how will it move the learner? And with learner, you can say player, user, intern, whatever you want. But what's the experience that we're creating? How is it actually moving them? Because most people are willing to try something once. Like everyone will log into your website and click on some stuff and check it out. But what's going to be them to come back to you? Even if you're talking about like apps on your phone, something like 12 to 13% of apps that get downloaded on your phone, like they never even get opened the first time. And of the people who do open them the first time, like a good portion, like a good 40 to 60% never come back the second time. Right? Like it's totally cool. I can connect with people and they kind of connect and they put it down and it never comes back. Right? But then you have other apps or other games that people are playing like crazy and they keep coming back over and over again. So it's really worth studying them, figuring out why they keep coming back. So how how do we know when the person's
Testing. Just swapping this.
Sure. There's also these sense of exploration, and there's all these secrets that you can find. And as soon as you encounter a new area or find a new secret, you can automatically see the results and consequences of what you're doing.
All right, all, we'll get started in a moment with the How to Make Social Impact workshop. Hey, Brenda, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
And Brenda, can you hear Harminder when he talks? Can you hear someone else talking that's not me?
We cannot know. I could only hear you talking just now, and before that it was also quiet.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're welcome.
No, sure, what's up? Hey, Brenda, can you hear me now?
Test, test, test.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep,
That's-
thank you for.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
All
of
right,
course.
we'll get started in a couple minutes.
Ah, okay, good to know.
All right, everybody, we get started in about 1 minute. Get back on over. This will be the last workshop for today. It's time to work on it. All right, everybody. This is part of your game, and Parker, he was in host for us. He only
Yeah, coding has been a critical aspect of many things, right? And it might be one of the things that's gonna change whether we feel or not. Yeah, well, the opposite of it is we could all. Values, whatever, values. All right, I think that's a good point. Thank you. That's, for planning on.
Yeah, I'll take it. All right. Thank you all for participating in a lot of workshops, actually. We don't usually actually have all these workshops. 1 second. We don't always usually have all these workshops in Mashup so we can spend more time working on your projects. But all this, I think, is a really great, how do you say it? Data science, AI, ML, gamification, social impact. Whoever just made it to the end just downloaded 3 really interesting approaches, right? For solution making. That's how you can see what you just understood and absorbed. And with that downloaded in your brain, I'm sure you're going to have new memes that pop up in your brain as you think about solutions. And when you think about innovative solutions, that's kind of the cutting edge right now. Like what you 3 just like offered to the students was the future in many, many regards, right? I don't even know how to explain that all together. So what we're going to do going forward is we're going to have open time until 5. So you can actually get honed down to finishing up, setting up your programs, to work together, to collaborate, talk to each other, hang out, play some ping pong. I actually want to play, has anyone ever played this? Everyone played Foursquare ping pong before? Okay, I want to introduce you to it. But basically it's Foursquare ping pong. And it was like, actually, I kind of want to play with you guys all right now. But essentially it's a game where you like we just play Foursquare and whoever gets out, then the next person goes in and that's it. I think that'll be kind of fun to play with all of you guys for the sometime in the next hour. So yeah, let's do that. We were going to have employer spotlights between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m., but I think it's just too tight, just too much. So I'm going to actually have those employer spotlights at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. for those who want to stay and listen to East Palo Alto Senior Center and Purely Drinks. Okay. So from now until 5, we're essentially done with programming and you can all do your thing, connect with each other. Let me think if there's anything else that we should be doing beforehand. Who has set up a program from earlier before lunch already? Raise your hand. Great. Who still needs to set up their program? Raise your hand. Oh, nobody. Great. Oh, you do. Right. So if some success managers can help Jason, Leanne right here, that'd be really great. So maybe the gang up there who are all success managers, that'd be great. Does anyone else need help setting up program or any issues you need help with? Okay, great. So I would recommend you all spending as much time processing your ideas and your solutions and come to me, come to success managers, maximize the time you have for the next hour on your solutions and just enjoying yourself. I think that was it. And just to be really, really clear, I'll get to your question in a bit. To be really, really clear, essentially what we're doing for the remainder of the summer is now, this is the kickoff for the first round of build projects to pitch internships. And it's for the amount of employers that we just shared earlier, which are employers who are willing to listen to you already, that we know, and we know what they want too from the employer spotlights. So having your solution get your solution basically wrapped up by after July 4th, like July 8th. And then we're going to try to put you in touch with the employer on that week of July 8th. And then immediately thereafter, you're going to essentially choose another employer in the meantime, which will be an employer here at the gate. And you would all build projects to pitch internships for an employer at the gate. And the gate's actually in on this. So they're actually going to help us connect with those employers. And then the last sprint will be essentially employers that you would choose from your local city or local jurisdiction. That is the plan right now. I know that's also, there's a lot of like crap, that you just had to go through to kind of get to just set up the program, but that's exactly the point. We actually want you to kind of go through that crap, setting up your own program on our platform, personalizing your own project, and choosing your own employer, because we want to actually make that process super simple in the future, right? So user all essentially, we're forever going to be an experiment, essentially. All right. I always talk too much, so I'm going to stop talking now, and I'll answer some questions so you guys have more clarity. So if you just have some questions or need more clarity, this is the time to ask some questions. Yes. Yeah, so an employer spotlight is going to be online. It's going to be on Zoom, just like the format that we had prior. And for those who may not make it from 5 to 6, you can watch it online, essentially, in the calendar invite. Oh, by the way, quick question. How do you guys like, but from 1 to 5, okay? 1 to 5. Just put it up like here or put it wherever. How do you guys like the step-by-step activities for all these calendar invites in these programs? How do you guys like that? 4, 4, 4, 4, okay. 3, 4, cool. Okay, cool. Great. So this has always been part of the vision of Pilot City, as I mentioned before, right? Setting up these step-by-step activities for all kinds of programs. So I'm glad that you guys actually like it, because it's actually made definitely my life easier. And we want to build on that. We want to gamify it, right? We want to create more engagement. We want to actually have it be driven by itself, essentially. All right, more questions. Yes. Yes. Now, what you want to do is get to an idea as soon as possible, because the goal is to get you in front of an employer even before July 8th if we can. Why? Because when employers hear your idea that they have a specific idea for already, right? Like the employers you selected, they're going to have feedback for you. And what you want to do is you want to process that feedback ASAP and make another iteration ASAP. So you can present them as close of quality products that they are expecting, right? That demonstrates your skills, your portfolios, your abilities, and their interests. Across all the employer spotlights that we did over this last week, the employers have consistently said, show me what you can do. Meaning, show me your design skills, show me your content creation skills, show me your editing skills, show me with pictures and videos, basically, what you can do. And actually make the thing that I want and then show me what you did, right? That's what they want to see. So even though some of the programs you set up today was brainstorm project ideas, it doesn't have like the make log, right? Or the demo video. You want to start working on your actual solutions so that it's actually really like, yeah, design. Yeah, great question. More questions? I'd like to hear what employer everyone chose. So what employer did you choose? Local, okay, great. East Palo Alto Senior Center, okay. Akash? Seed, okay. Okay, Honda Cognition. Divya? Sway Design and Research, great. Conscious, yep. And which one? You did Conscious as well. Okay, great. Did any alumni team members choose one for fun? Okay, great. So that's exciting to see you all choose those different options. All right, we're gonna close out now. We might do a little like powwow towards the end, but I'll let you guys all go and have fun, and we'll close out these event workshops. Let's give the workshop hosts another round of applause. For those who want to play a game of Foursquare ping pong, I would like you to all join right now. I think it'll be fun. I'll show you guys how it goes down in about a minute. All right, thank you, everyone.
You got it? Program over having to be ready by July, right? But like, what if like this is like
you already said we're gonna keep up with these policies, like at this employer spotlight. So like, what exactly is gonna be the process? Because like, we already have everything done. Do I need to restart again for this project or?
Let me talk to you again in a second.
Oh, I know what you want.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm gonna leave.
Was that just for people?
Okay, we want to talk, but give me a second.
Sorry, I wanted, from a conversation on this side, I wanted to share with everyone. When you're creating the solutions for the employers, what you want to do is get as close as possible to the solution itself for the employer. Whether it be an actual prototype, whether actually the minimum viable product that it be, or whether it be a design. That is the most important thing that they want to see is a solution itself. And that is really important for them to see. Just wanted to share on that. So that's my answer. Hey, so I want to play a game of Forest Number Ping Pong. We're gonna go down. Yeah. Cool. Join us over there to the ping pong game. Well, actually, can you bring some paddles and other ping pong tables, maybe some balls, and I'll show you guys how we play.
the one at the top.
Yes. Go for it.
So I'm kind of.
So what happened was, schedule.
Yeah. Right now.
So like.
Yeah, I thought that
You can start with that, so so basically, I think that's something that's a long workshop where I'm kind of serious on this. Like, I really feel up. And that's the- So now that I'm so I created, so I'm gonna have to back you on how to get to it. The things that are asking. I just don't know what that is yet. I'll have another conversation. I need to have a call so we can talk about what we said. At this point, it's yeah, we'll have to have a conversation. It's kind of one-on-one call. So Paul, you can click on that link and see if there's any. So you can. Thanks for coming. All right, everyone, why don't you go ahead and get over to the ping pong table and we'll play a game of pong, all right?
Me and Pretty have to head out right now.
Thanks for
But we have to get.
That's great. Well, we're gonna do it.
But I had also kind of.
Okay, can we guys bring it to the middle table here? You guys bring those pong. Jason, put up those bricks. Mohan, Tosh, Jason, you want to play or not? Do you have paddle? Can we go on paddle with you? You're actually trying to solve things. But then that's the item. Basically shut down a lot. But a great yes, it's the guy who's responds to someone and having change. Right. So basically, get off money and so yeah.
What I'm going to try to do is maybe get sent through. We've got a big corporate okay, let's put more through the stuff, SDGs. That could be a. I don't want to be running that. And if I so Friday 7 financing. That's good. I think after this next experiment, I hope we'll have more answers.
Are you actually going?
Will I have enough around the AI?
Yeah. Yeah.
On you, you change everything. I know it's silly. I told Paul, actually, you can see Paul. Can I give you a shirt that I own? No. Okay, cool. So I've just been hearing this shirt for a while.
Do that. We can save our.
What do I mean?
Let's go up there. I have my notebook.
So he used to interview for this dog.
Oh, yeah, me and him were one.
The question that I'm asking everyone is, do you want to be here? Hey, could I actually gather everyone who is still here to the front stage right now, just for a quick conversation? So whoever's here from Pilot City, just come to the stage real quick right now, so I can actually have a conversation. I'm likely to only ask for once, so if you come out for now, that'd be great. You should come here. Hey, so I'm gonna ask only once, if you wanna come here, you should come here now, or people are sitting over there, like Carson said, if you wanna talk, wanna hear this, over there. So, Shannon on the red mentioned that they wanna come here, actually, anybody in the app, can come here whenever they want. So my question for those who are here right now, is if you wanna actually access the space more and actually work from here more often. And you just have to provide us that data. Like, you want to be here 2 times a week, or once a week, or twice a week. Try and answer that. Okay. So my question is that, is there anyone who wants to be here more often than not? Raise your hand. Ready, grandpa, Divya, big red. Great. So can you just all right now pull out your phones and text this number and just say, in person more, just so I have the data on it. So if you have text 510-676-5861. 510-676-5861. And just text in person more. And basically what I'm planning on doing is that the gate actually wants us here more. And the goal of Mashup board is to actually allow you all to access the space really whenever you want. And so If more waves are here, the more it's going to be kind of like this on the increase. Kind of cool, okay? I'm not gonna be here most of the time, but I would like you guys. to be here. And then we can have people who are successful in doing it for our team, be kind of like the supervisors, which they use for us. That's kind of the goal. If you talk with me, I will follow up with you and likely give you access to the station. Like that might involve you actually getting a file, like actual access. Which costs us money, to, if we don't do that. So I just want to let you all know that, and you can even like share it with your friends, but this is kind of the last one, so I understand you all. One other experiment that we're doing, more community events with you all mentioned. That's all I want to mention. So I got the data. Have one, we're gonna have the core file in a little bit, and I'm touched on it too. So that's why I'll talk to you. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
I'll catch you later.
Great. Thanks.
Hey. Hey.
kind of what we're doing. A lot of things change. You gotta be thinking of responses. That actually what you think what and that's what we're doing right now. Like, we'll feel it. That's kind of what I want to do. I think what would be a good next step is if you can send me however you want to send it, audio message, a text message, really look great. Some air blow, like that yourself. Describe more about what you want to do. What do you want to? Yeah, like go deeper on some of those kind of challenges. Maybe you also would feel either. Like maybe before the challenge, create a chapter yet. Create Cool, thanks for coming.